I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Bachman.
Here.
Councilmember Smith.
Here.
Councilmember Lundberg.
Here.
Mayor Sullivan.
Here.
Councilmember Pratt.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski.
Here.
Councilmember Martin Pontiac.
Here.
City Manager.
Here.
City Attorney.
Here.
DPW Director.
Here.
Finance Director.
Here.
Community Development Director.
Here.
Fire Chief.
Here.
City Engineer.
Here.
Roll call complete.
Thank you. Public hearings, we have none. Citizens' comment on agenda-related items.
My name is Nicole Bromley. I was here last month discussing wanting to change the code 606 from mammals to animals so that you could eliminate bird feeding downtown. I don't know if any of you looked and saw how long it was on the books to feed birds downtown, but it's been a very long time. And this is just a personal vendetta because the chief thought birds were mammals. And because of that, he and the city manager and Lindsay Swiderski, and I've provided you with a stack of information and the tickets I've received, such as birdseed littering, $125 tickets because the birdseed hit the ground. We throw birdseed at weddings. Nobody's issuing tickets. I provided you with all the information, so I hope today when you decide to vote on this bird feeder thing, which is a pleasant thing, they are to code, they are out of the way, and nobody has complained. We've been in downtown for over 12 years. Nobody complained until that first situation that I brought to your attention. So I really hope that you consider leaving it the way it's been for over 50 years. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, I'm Jerry Johnson, owner of Golden Silver Exchange. Maybe this code is not, I'm in the code that is about the sidewalk blockouts. Is that on the agenda tonight? Okay. So we'll go back to 606. Like I said, you know, we've been here for 12 years. I worked really hard, Nikki worked really hard to get a business here. Want to be known as some of the best people in the county, you know, in the township and everywhere. So, I mean, I've always stressed that. I've been in business 42 years of my life, personal businesses. And it's just got to where the town is, seemed like it's leaning just, you know, out of kilter a little bit. We're not taking everybody's feelings in play here. You know, we're talking about bird feeders. Come on, people. There's not nothing to them. They're just bird feeders. I mean, we're wasting our time and our efforts on this, really, when we got the drug problem we have here in this town, the alcoholism. I'm not supposed to see y'all waste your time on that, really, honestly. I said, how much more do we got to take of it? So I'm going to tell everybody sitting here in this council tonight, my business, it will be officially closed on the 29th of February. With regard that I'm sorry, I'm leaving 13 years behind, and that's hard to do. But I'm not going to keep participating in a city that don't see everything. So, you know, when it comes to the vote on that thing, you know, we really would understand that it's this bird feed. They throw them at weddings. What are we going to do when they throw it at a wedding? You know, it's the same thing. It's feeding them. You know, we've done it for all these years and nobody said nothing. And then all of a sudden we have a big blowout. So I'd like to have you regard, you know, to that, you know, really think about what your vote should be. Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry, the parklets are on the consent agenda if you have
The what
something.
now?
The parklets, if you have something to say about that.
That's what I thought. I was shot
Okay,
down.
I'm sorry.
Last month, or last couple of weeks ago, you shot me down. So I do want to reflect on this, and this is mainly what I wanted to do. The code is 1028. It says you never should park or block a parking place in this city. Now, I understood COVID when it came in and everybody had to readjust and everything. COVID's been long gone. I have brought it to the city manager for 2 years now that this code is being violated. Anytime you got them blackouts out there, it's a violation. When I had my business right across the street at Dr. Gardine's dentistry, it did hurt my business. I had many people come in and talk about they had to walk so far. The older people won't even walk. I brought it to Bill's attention. Nothing was ever done. So they've been breaking that city ordinance for how long? that we have to keep doing this. And it was brought to my attention was by one of my customers. So y'all gonna change that ordinance. Who are you gonna allow to put bump outs in? And who you're not gonna allow? So if you do away with that, where anybody can do it, we're gonna have a road full of bump outs. You know, why would you not do it? You see what I'm saying? So, but I'm trying to figure out why they allowed that to keep going for that many years when I brought it to his attention. There's nothing done about it. Nothing. And it did cost me money. It cost all of us vendors money down there. You know, I don't understand why you need them now. You know, it's just COVID's over with. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But I appreciate it. That code being in violation as long as it's been needs to be left alone. Because if you don't, you're going to have people out there with all these bump outs. I mean, how could you control it at that moment? If you do away with the bump outs, saying anybody can have them, so guess what? You're going to have everybody having them. But I appreciate your time. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Good evening, Madam Mayor and respective City Council members. I just really thank you for your time this evening. My name is Deanna Marsh, and I am part of the committee, and just a small part. We have a great committee that is putting together Frostbite Festival and Chili Cook-Off 2024. So there's not a whole lot that we're asking of the council this year. I've talked to a few of you. I just really want to give thanks tonight to Chief Glass for his time and listening to us kind of putting this together. I know that the Frostbite Festival is not brand new to Manistee, but this is the first one that's resumed after COVID. So we're really excited to bring it back and to get it going again. Bill Gamble, thank you so much for your time as well, and kicking me in the butt a little bit to get that special use permit in place. So we've done that. We have followed through with the $1 million insurance rider that was requested as well. We've also paid the $100 deposit to for the special use permit. So I feel like our committee is really on track this year to put on a nice festival for the city of Manistee. I am asking that we do have the support of council to do this. We're not asking to close down the road this year. That is something that we had considered. The weather being so mild, there are some things that we've had to pull off the table, such as ice sculpting this year. The Chili Festival also will be held in the parking lot of the Manistee and Marina. There will be some tents put up there, some 20 by 40 tents. John Pomeroy will be playing music for the festival. Lots of fun activities going out throughout the town. Please follow that on Facebook if you want to know all of them. I won't take up your time tonight and tell you all of them, but I do promise a fun festival, very family-friendly festival for our town. So just thank you for listening. Again, we really just appreciate, not asking for really anything tonight, but just having support of our city council to keep this festival and other festivals very much alive in Manistee. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have to thank Jeff McCoolett too. He's going to bring down the picnic tables, and he's really working with us as well. So I just want to let you know that all of these people have been a pleasure to work with.
All right, thank you. Anybody else?
Bobby Rogers Krause, 707 Harbor Drive. I just had a question. You've probably talked about it at previous meetings, but I haven't been here. I have not been feeling good till tonight. I saw on the agenda that there's a problem with bird feeders downtown, and I just wanted to, as a citizen, like understand that a little bit better. So when you talk about that and you get there, if you would address that, I'd really appreciate that. For me personally, I know we've been downtown walking, and the bird feeders we've seen haven't been a problem. We've enjoyed it, so I would really like to understand why those are being banned. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, consent agenda. All agenda items marked with an asterisk are on the consent agenda and considered by the city manager to be routine matters. Prior to approval, any member of council may have an item removed and taken up during the regular portion of the meeting. Items include approval of minutes, cash balances, revenue and expenses, quarterly finance update, quarterly investment update, consideration of ordinance 24-01 to amend chapter 430 parking generally of the City of Manistee, Michigan Codified Ordinances. Consideration of ordinance 24-02 to amend Chapter 850 Business Registration of the City of Manistee, Michigan Codified Ordinances. Consideration of ordinance 24-03 to amend Chapter 606 Animals of the City of Manistee, Michigan Codified Ordinances. Consideration of proclaiming February 11th through the 17th, 2024 as National Future Business Leaders of America Week in the City of Manistee. Consideration of 2024 Smoke on the Water date correction. Consideration of Frostbite Festival. Consideration of Trinity Lutheran School 5K run. At this point, council could take action to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Bachmann.
Yes.
Councilmember Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Lundberg.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Pratt.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin Pontiac.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. New business, consideration of entering into a 5-year agreement with Hearst Mechanical, Inc. to serve as provider of record for mechanical HVAC services. The city's contract with the HVAC contractor of record, Custom Sheet Metal and Heating, Inc. has expired. The city has issued a request for proposals for HVAC mechanical provider of record. 2 responses were received, the city recommending that Hearst Mechanical be awarded the contract. At this time, council could take action to enter into a 5-year agreement with Hearst Mechanical, Inc. to serve as provider of record for mechanical HVAC services and authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute the agreement. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Any discussion?
I have one question, Mr. Bradford. Is that your contract that you did there? Those hourly rates, is that per person or per the company, or what does the hourly rates represent, please?
The hourly rates is for when their technicians come on site to do work.
For one technician, so if 2 come, that rate doubles? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Hey, Ed, how come this thing expired so many months ago? How come we're first getting it back now to get reissued?
We didn't have the capacity to get that RFP out prior to this. There was just with staff turnover and different projects. So we continued to use Custom Sheet Metal until we were able to issue the new RFP.
I have a question. How long ago did we put this out for bid?
I did have to check. It was probably out for 3 weeks.
I know, but like, when do you think we put it out for bid? I guess the only reason I'm asking is like, I wondered if we only got 2 bids back, if it was like during their busy season. Like if we had put it out in the summer, I wondered if we might have gotten more.
I don't think so because the last time we did this, which was closer to the summer, we only got 2 bids.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think I had it in the memo. Let me just double check.
November 10th.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, and Custom Sheet Metal did come in and talk to me. They got the RFP. I direct mailed several different companies. We just didn't put it out on the web as well, and I chatted with them, so.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Bachmann.
Yes.
Councilmember Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Lundberg.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Pratt. Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin Pontiac. Motion approved.
Thank you. Consideration of budget amendment 2024-1 for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024. The City of Manistee is required by state law to ensure that actual expenditures do not exceed budget amounts. In the course of the current fiscal year, unanticipated and unbudgeted events and/or council-approved expenditures have occurred. The proposed budget amendment addresses the expenditures associated with these events to ensure compliance with the state statutes regarding appropriations. At this time, council could take action to adopt budget amendment 2024-1 for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Support.
Any discussion?
I wonder, Mr. Gammon, you just kind of walk us through the departments and what we're adjusting here, and if there's anything that jumped out that we need an explanation for that's not in the memo?
Sure. So I think the big thing was we did add, I asked Mr. Bradford to add with the Sleigh Bell Committee with Rachel Brooks and that committee stepping down. We wanted to be nimble and we have to start booking carriages, horses, things like that. So we wanted to put a budget amendment. I anticipate we'll get revenue back from sponsorships. We have a good committee to move forward with this, but I think having money to make those commitments and get things set up. So this will allow us to get started with the Sleigh Bell Parade. I'll start. I'm going to ask Mr. Bradford to come up for a couple of these, but the first one, we had some residual with the Housing Commission investigatory audit. We had some additional items on there. And then police, we've had, looks like some additional wages to be covered. That's the main items. And then it looks like, he said the police, so the police department, we had some insurance claims, and that was part of the,
So there was 2 police cruisers that had been involved in accidents, and they got repaired, and we got insurance proceeds for that, but we have to record the expenses, and that will take their repair item over the budget, so that's what that item is for. And then the wages and the costs for education and tuition, we got a grant to do an employed recruit, and that just is the offsetting costs, and we've received those funds.
I have one quick question. In regards to the Housing Commission carryover, does that take care of all those? or-
Unless there's another.
Okay, so as far as we know?
Yeah,
Okay.
and that came real early, like in July
Yeah.
or something. So
Okay.
We're done. Should be-
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Mr. Gamble, one of your notes, you mentioned that you were hoping to hire an event coordinator. That's not what that $20,000 for, though, correct?
no, that's not. And that would be something we discuss for budget, for the next year budget.
Okay. That's not,
That's not this, no, this is for,
I plan on doing that before we approve another budget then.
correct, yes.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Bachmann. Councilmember Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Lundberg.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Pratt.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski.
Yes,
Councilmember Martin Pontiac. Motion approved.
Thank you. Consideration of applications to boards and commissions. The city clerk has taken action to advertise vacancies on the Board of Review, Compensation Commission, Historic District Commission, Ag Commission, Tree Commission, and the Zoning Board of Appeals. Mayoral and manager appointments require a motion, second, and council voted support. Nominations for council appointments do not require a second. After all nominations are made, council votes on the nominees until one nominee receives the majority of support. The following applications have been received. For the Historic District Commission, 3 vacancies, terms ending 8/2/2827, purpose historic preservation. Mr. Thad Taylor, 581 8th Street, and Catherine Kenny, 140 Ford Street. Is there a nomination?
I'd like to nominate Catherine Kenny for one of the terms ending 2/28/27.
Would you please take roll, Heather?
Councilmember Bachmann.
Yes.
Councilmember Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Lundberg.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Pratt.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski.
yes,
Councilmember Martin Pontiac.
Yes.
Nomination approved.
Thank you.
Mayor, I'd like to nominate Thad Taylor, 581 8th Street, for a term ending 2/28/27, please.
Thank you. Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Bachmann. Councilmember Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Lundberg.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Pratt.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski.
yes,
Councilmember Martin Pontiac.
Yes.
Nomination approved.
Thank you. Zoning Board of Appeals, 1 vacancy, term ending 5/31/26. Purpose appeal, here's appeals to zoning, building issues, mayoral appointment. I'd like to appoint Paul DeFries, 494th Street. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Support.
Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Bachmann.
Yes.
Councilmember Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Lundberg.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Pratt.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski.
yes,
Councilmember Martin Pontiac.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Now we will have a report from Lucas Richardson on the NRBC Neighborhood Restoration and Beautification Commission.
Good evening, Council, Mayor. I'm Lucas Richardson, if you don't know me by now. I'm the chair of the NRBC. I'm here to give our annual report. So to start, just I wanted to cover our purpose statement of our commission. The purpose of our commission is to identify, research, and recommend opportunities and resources to help prevent, remediate, and eliminate blight and help beautify the city of Manistee. Our commission is consistent of 5 members currently, along with Police Chief Glass and our recording secretary, Mayor Dilworth. Tonight, I think Kathy Grabowski is with me, of course, Mayor Sullivan, and then myself. And then another 2 members are Mary Kay Wilkosh and Jess Stallings. In our recent commission meeting, we did approve our bylaws for recommendation to council approval to increase that membership. I think we're at a point now where we're a lot more established to take on more membership. So hopefully when that gets on council agenda, something that council could consider approving for adding 2 additional members. Some of our duties as a commission, we identify and implement strategies related to restoration and beautification for various types of projects, cleanups, blight cleanups, restoring neighborhoods, a lot of sidewalk remediation. As we all know, there's a lot of old sidewalk that's not maintained in town, so we've really focused on a lot of that type of work. We've really dug into a lot of programs. Unfortunately, not a lot is available for blight remediation funding assistance, other than the CHIL grant, which I'll touch on later on, that the city's obtained, which is fantastic. Another thing that our commission does in our bylaws and in the ordinance is to organize a community service day annually. To begin with, I think our first year we touched on a couple, but last year, as you'll see, we did monthly community service days and had a pretty substantial impact, which is awesome. And then finally, to maintain a dedicated list of volunteers for service day projects, which we continue to build on. So a couple of these I just touched on, but some of our accomplishments in 23, we continue to build on that list. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but I would think that list is over 50 people now, which every single time we have a community service day project, we reach out to that whole list and give them the option. If they are willing to come participate, then we would definitely have them. We organized 7 community service days this past summer in various parts of town. And the next slides, I'll show you some pictures of those. We established bylaws for our commission. Our commission's only 2 years old. So getting that done was a big step, and it's already came to council once to revise, but we've kind of took a step back and did some other revisions to propose to council now. We have reviewed and provided recommendation to a lot of blight-related ordinances, almost all of them, and gave those recommendations to the ordinance committee, and I think some of them have been brought to council already, and if they haven't, there's, I'm sure, more to come. We maintain monthly and weekly social media posts with city staff, and I think that's been pretty effective. There's been a lot of community input and feedback from that to our commission members and staff. And then we continue to advertise that monthly bulk pickup to the community. There's still a lot of people that I don't think know that, even though there's letters and social media posts. So the first community service day that we did really focused on Casman Academy. There's sidewalks all around that school that were not walkable. If you were to walk down there this spring, you'd probably still see the staining on the sidewalk of what was buried in sod for years. We got some donations from local businesses to put some wood chips down in the playground that hadn't clearly happened for years. We did a lot of painting, and we including the painting, we also scraped all the old paint off, so before doing the new painting, to do it the right way. And that's a big toll for some volunteers, especially some of the volunteers that we have that haven't done a whole lot of that work. So on May 4th, we went there to do this project that took, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours, I think, of a good 10 or so volunteers. And then the next time we came back there was in June, and we had another 10 or so volunteers come back for that, painted the railings and the steps there for safety, and touched up their sign and added some plants. Excuse me. The next community service day we focused on the St. Joe Church area. A lot of the church folks there asked us for some assistance. They had a extremely overgrown wall, retaining wall, that Mayor Sullivan had a blast cleaning that up with me. And that was a lot of work, and painting a lot of the safety areas in the parking lot and the light posts and whatnot. And then we had a service day over on Hancock Street by the Tabernacle Church. The sidewalk there was pretty overgrown with a lot of overhanging trees, and the railings were pretty much deteriorated, but we touched them up the best we can and painted them. And then in August, I didn't put a picture in here for it, I didn't have a good one, but the old Manistee historic sign, we touched up some of the plants that were growing around that, overgrown, blocking the signage, and I'm sure everybody's well aware of this area that was 4-foot tall weeds on the highway that Jim loved to clean that one up. And then we went back in September to Davis Street over by St. Joe Church area and cleared a lot of those overgrown sidewalks for some community members to use those to hopefully get to the church there. So some of our commission goals for 2024, we kind of touched about this, I think, last month's meeting and even the one this week. We want to help the city as much as we can with the chill grant that city staff received, which is fantastic, and it'll provide a lot of homeowners some funding assistance that there just isn't any other options, which is great. So I think we're going to be working a lot with city manager and Tracy Davis and Teresa Waldo on implementing what we can to help with that chill grant. We're going to continue to build on that volunteers list. I see a lot of people in the crowd tonight. If you want to be a volunteer, Kathy Grabowski in the back, she can raise her hand. She's our volunteer captain, so she would gladly take your contact information for being a volunteer for our group. We want to create our first NRBC spring cleanup day. We got some logistics still to work out with city staff and how that's going to be, but we got some pricing to hopefully put dumpsters in a few locations in town for a big bulk cleanup. We've heard a lot of input in council meetings and from other community members that the old trash pickup day and all the background to that, but so we want to do that sometime in the spring. We want to continue doing the monthly community service days. Each one of our commission members has kind of dedicated a month for each commission member to organize and manage a project. And then we continue to look for other ways to help fund and restore some of the areas in town. Some of the success factors that we count on is definitely continued support from you, City Council and city staff. Any input from the community. I know we've talked about doing some community surveys. We try to do the postings, but there's only so much participation as of right now. So we just encourage the community to help out and even offer opinions and suggestions. Collaboration between commissions that are already established and our commission, and then volunteer organizations like Habitat for Humanity and others that are already established. And then we definitely need to keep finding more funding sources like the Chill Grant for home repairs, because that grant's only going to go so far, unfortunately. Some of our upcoming projects, like I touched on earlier, the spring cleanup we want to implement. As of right now, we've really focused on the first one, most likely being the senior center cleanup. There's a lot of work that's got to get done in that area in the neighborhood, and it sounds like we might have close to 30 volunteers for that event, which would be amazing. We want to help the city with doing some landscaping and planting around those new city entrance signs, which They're beautiful, just need to probably finish them out. And then, obviously the chill grant assistance, which is gonna come sooner than later. So with that, that's all I have.
Lucas, are you considering the fire hydrants, like I checked up on, the chief gave me a list of the hydrants all around in,
I know we talked about it. I have to follow up with city manager and DPW director on to see if
all right,
it's
talk to
something
the
we.
manager, and I gotta check with the gentleman that takes care of the program down at the garage. I haven't got a hold of him yet, so
Okay.
he was on vacation, so
I think it's something that we can consider
I'll
if.
take care of that for you.
Okay. Great.
I have a question. In regards to the trash pickup, I know I recently attended your guys' meeting and you had talked about potentially looking at putting different dumpsters in city locations for people to transport their stuff. I guess I'm just wondering, and I don't know, I could be totally off base, but like what if we had somebody who says, hey, I have some stuff in my yard, or like it's a blight situation, but they don't have a way to transport it. Is there any thought on what that might look like?
That is something that we still have to iron out, but we've definitely brought that up in a few meetings because we need to address that as well, because a lot of times, you're right, that's the case. The blight is in the yard because they don't have a means and methods to get it to the dump.
Yeah.
So we need
I
to,
think that was kind of maybe the benefit of having it like at your house pickup, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I get the whole,
the
there's a
one
lot
at
of
a
things.
time is
Yeah.
not gonna make a big impact, right?
So I just wondered. The other thing is, I know you guys have a limited budget and you guys do a lot, but I guess, what do you guys do if like you're on a project, like when you mentioned the railing and you're like, we kind of did the best we could, because, you know, if something's too far gone, like do you then communicate that so that it can maybe be budgeted for in the future?
Yeah, I think for that one specifically, it's a very low traffic area.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a little bit of an eyesore more than it was.
That might not have been the best example, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying, if there's something that you're like, wow, this is more than what we can do or more than we can afford, like is there?
Yep. I think actually a good example might be the Davis Street. We cleaned up that sidewalk that was pretty much every joint. And we found out under the sod there's a old stop sign that must have got ran over, and you know the metal was sticking out and probably could have seriously injured someone. So immediately we contacted DPW and they came out and addressed that. So yes, we definitely, if we see it, we'll make sure you know the city knows about it and not just hit and move on.
Thanks.
Yep.
I had a question. So how do you get your projects? Are you guys just coming up with them on your own, or do people say, hey, what about this? Or how does that work?
I'd say it's a mixture of when we hear from the community to us directly, but like you said, there's 5 of us, so it's just what we hear. Some of them have come from cities, you know, like the entrance signs. We thought that would be a good volunteer project, and I think we agree on that. And but yeah, it's hard too because I think that our social media doesn't receive comments, right?
Not very, no.
So
So somebody out in the community said, hey, could you guys help out with something? How would they get a hold of you? They just go in the,
we do, on the city website, there is an email that addresses our whole commission.
Okay.
It's like, I think it's like nrbc@manisteemichigan.gov. So that would be, I guess, the route right now, but I would say most of the projects are either from us hearing about it, seeing someone post it on social media about it being a problem, or us seeing it personally. So if you have any projects, feel free.
I will.
Okay.
Thanks.
On top of that, though, you gotta watch out because some of it is private property,
Right,
so you can't just rush onto everything.
exactly. Yeah, if it is on private property and it's like something the homeowner asks us for assistance, then, you know, there's a route we can go to do that, but we try to focus mostly on right-of-way issues and city property.
All right. Thank you.
Anybody else? Thank you, Lucas. Okay, citizens' comment. This is an opportunity for citizens in attendance to comment on municipal services, activities, or areas of city involvement. Limited to 5 minutes. Letters submitted to council will not be publicly read. Mr. Gamble.
Thank you, Mayor. To Chief Glass, at the Chiefs Conference this week, we received some great news that the police department did receive the accreditation. So a lot of hard work by our police department and the chief, and I just want to thank them for their hard work on this. There will be a presentation at council by the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies. So just congratulations to the department. Appreciate everyone's hard work to get that done. Also, Teresa Waldo applied for a housing readiness incentive grant to update the master plan, so we were awarded that. So thank you, Teresa, for taking that initiative. Shit. That's all. Thank you.
Any other? Mr. Pratt.
I just had one question. I've had a couple community members ask about the amphitheater study. Any idea on when that might be available for the public?
It's being finalized right now, so hopefully soon. Just some lingering questions from some committee members we're trying to finalize, but it looks like the larger amphitheater was not, it's not something that, it's going to be a financial commitment to make that happen. We need probably a lot of money to do that, but maybe a smaller venue, maybe phased approach, but hoping to get a little bit more direction on it before we finalize it and send that out.
Okay, thank you. That was all.
Mr. Grabowski. Ms. Potty.
I just had a couple people ask about the bridge and if it's still going to be open on time. Give me updates on that.
I'm just bearing the news, but I attend the progress meetings with the state of Michigan. They canceled the one from last week, so this information's a couple weeks old. But they are on track with the painting and so forth. The track and tread, which is kind of the giant steel portions that the bridge actually rotates on, is the next big step that they need to do. They're trying to work out the sequences of that right now. If they do sequence A, then it should be on time and be able to be opened in April. If they have to go to sequence B, then it delays other work that they need to do, and they may have to finish the project at some later point. They have not decided or are not at that point as far as I know, but from the last conversations I had with them, it'll be open to vessel traffic on April 1st, which is what the federal permits require, and then they will open it up to vehicular traffic soon after that. So I can let the city manager know, and he can pass it along in his weekly update after the next meeting if you'd like.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Bachman.
I just got two things. Lucas, thank you for your report and for your work. Your committee is definitely making the neighborhood a better place, and I appreciate what you're doing. And number two, I feel compelled to say something about the bird feeders. I'm on the ordinance committee, and I voted in favor of this, and I listened to the conversation and voted to support that. What I will say is I wish it would have never got to us. I would like to have seen a win-win solution out there rather than a win-lose, but apparently we couldn't get to that point. So I'm disappointed that we couldn't do a win-lose, and where we're at, but I did vote for it, was part of it, because we did not get to win-lose or win-win. So that's just my thoughts on the topic. So thank you.
Mr. Smith.
Yep, I'm all set.
Ms. Lindberg.
I just had a couple of questions about the chill grant. Maybe I can just send them to you. Just wondering about how, it looked like it was first come, first serve, and I don't know when that opened up and when people were asking me that, and I didn't know the answer. So is that out there somewhere? You know, okay.
So it's a new, I'm going to have Teresa come up. She's been kind of working with Mishta on it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So right now, we're still waiting on the application for the chill grant. Weekly, we've been doing updates with the state. As soon as we know when that opens up for the chill grant and the application is given to us, then we're gonna actually give a specific date. I've got everyone's phone numbers, emails. We're gonna be putting it on the website, Facebook, Instagram, maybe the news outlet, radio, anything that we can do. And then let everybody know that this is the date that it'll be available. We're hoping that we can post that online, also have it in the office, those two couple places, maybe somewhere else. Once that is open, hand that out, then it's their responsibility to fill all of that out. But if they have any questions or need help with that, Tracy and I are absolutely going to be there to help and assist them. They'll have to go home and get that list of papers, you know, taxes, a deed to their house, just anything that they're requiring. Again, I don't know what that list is. So as soon as they have all of that and given that, they can go home, get all of that in, and then they'll drop it off to us or mail it or email. Tracy and I are going to be stamping at the date that it's received, the time that it is received, and we're going to take all of them because then we need the process of having the NRBC with Lucas. And so they're going to help us go through each of those to make sure all of their criteria are met. First with income, that they own the home, all those things. And then through there, it'll be the first 12 or 14 that we get. Yeah. So on another side note, if someone doesn't use all of their estimated $40,000, that leftover money could go to somebody else in that stack. So we can continue to do that. So anything else? Oh, and I also have some papers right up there for anybody picking anything up, or if they want more information, or anybody can always contact me.
On the Chill Grant specifically?
Yep,
Oh, okay.
yep, the Chill Grant, yep, absolutely, or anything else, you know, community development, so, thank you. Yep.
That's all I had, thank you.
So I just had, one of the homeowners on Spruce Street, Jeff, that had an issue with the water main thing, said, you don't have to come up, I'm just letting you know. She said that you guys at the DPW have been a pleasure to work with, and she's happy with what's going on, so I just want to let you know that, and I will take a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion to adjourn?